Hey friends, today I wanted to bring you something a little bit different. I've got my business partner Andrew on the call with me today. We're going to chat a little bit about what we are hearing from people that we speak to on a regular basis about what their concerns are. We talk to over 100 people a week if you combine the people that Andrew and I speak to on a regular basis, folks that are just browsing and searching for homes on our website, our friends, our past clients. And there's a lot of concerns out there based on what is going on in the market. So, Andrew, let me ask you, what are the top two or maybe three things that you're hearing from people when they're registered on the website, when they're looking at homes as you're speaking to them?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. To be honest, I would say a few of them are the interest rates. People are concerned about that, as well as is there going to be a bottom out inventory? The rate is the market crashing. It's funny, we have a client right now that's under contract that emailed me earlier this week that was asking about do they overpay on their home. So we even have people that are under contract that are still asking. They're concerned about it, but you know what? The home appraised for over what they bought it for. So giving them the peace of mind that they bought at a great home, less competition because there's more sellers, less buyers.
Yeah, absolutely. So even that just goes to show somebody is under contract, they've already done their inspections, we've already negotiated that, they've already got their appraisal, they're in the home stretch, they're closing in like 12 days, and they're thinking, did I overpay on the home? And so that's a common theme that we're thinking. People have a misconception that, oh, it's this crazy buyer's market that buyers can take advantage of sellers and get a huge discount. In certain areas of the valley, that is true. For example, if you were to go to an outlying area, Casa Grande, Buckeye, or far down Santan Valley, or even parts of Queen Creek, there's definitely more supply than there is demand. However, if you look at Chandler, Gilbert, Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, especially, some of these areas are actually pretty strongly seller advantaged. And so, buyers with this news cycle of maybe a little bit of doom and gloom, some of them are coming into the market with the wrong expectations about what is it going to be like to be a buyer in the marketplace. And a lot of times, Andrew, what we've been telling folks is to consider getting a seller concession for a interest rate buy down, either a permanent or doing a 2-1 buy down. A 2-1 buy down is where you get credit from the seller to buy down your interest rate for the first 2 years of the loan. The 2-1 stands for the first year your interest rate is 2% lower than par. So let's just say you locked your rate at 6.25. Year one, you'd be at 4.25, and your payments would be as such. Year two, your payment would be equivalent to a 5.25, and then year three, you would default to 6.25. Now, the idea is if the Federal Reserve is going to start quantitative easing, that is buying bonds again, that will likely lower the mortgage rates. If that happens and you have purchased a home with the 2-1 buy down, there's an interest reserve account that has that extra money that we got from the seller. You actually get to capitalize on that reserve, apply it towards the principal when you refinance into a more permanent long-term situation to, have a fixed rate, let's just say at 5 or 5.25 for a 30-year fixed. And so we're recommending a lot of buyers that are concerned about interest rates and payments to consider that option. It's not right for everybody. It's definitely something to consider. And then, of course, we have to understand how media works and the news cycle works, right? Negativity and fear mongering gets a lot more clicks and a lot more attention on social media as well as on any of the major platforms than you're going to see positive news or actual factual data. And so it's important to remember we've got to look at facts, we've got to look at data and what we're experiencing in the real world, on the ground, in the trenches, working with buyers and sellers right now.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Kevin. It's especially the fear mongering. But it's funny, I was speaking to one of our professional loan officers today, and I said, hey, I was reading this article over the weekend about how real estate looked like it could bottom out. But from my personal experience, I feel we're the front runners at all times in the Phoenix area. We've already seen the market adjustments. Other states and cities are just seeing that. And he actually was like, you know what, that's a great talking point. And he's even going to do a video on it as well, because we are right. We start the trend before everyone else. And you want to find out what's happening, talk to us. We're with the buyers and the sellers constantly. And that's what we're noticing is Phoenix is the the trendsetter of what's going on. And I feel like we've already bottomed out. I think the prices are holding strong, and we're going to see that rebound here soon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, no one can predict the future. And, we're not saying market's going to go up 20% next year or whatever. However, when you have central banks intervening in monetary policy and global politics and all these different things that are influencing how financial markets perform, they significantly sway the housing market one way or another, specifically with how the bond pricing for the 10-year Treasury impacts mortgage rates. Mortgage rates essentially follow that. And so if rates come down, Andrew and I mean, we have a spreadsheet with probably 75 people that said, we definitely need to move in the next year. We're just kind of holding out because we need to see if rates come down, or we need to wait for a different reason. But I have a feeling that if the rates start to come down a little bit, we are going to see a massive surge of not only just buyers getting off the sidelines, but also sellers that are sitting there on a 3% mortgage and maybe just haven't felt compelled to make the move, and maybe their current home, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but maybe it's slightly too small or a little bit too big, and they've been wanting to downsize or upsize. This is going to be that opportunity, and something in my intuition tells me that in 2026 we're going to start to see, if the rates come down, people come off the sidelines, both listing their home and then purchasing homes, first-time buyers, move-up buyers, downsize buyers. And I predict that we're going to see a little bit more activity in 2026, probably a lot more if we get lower rates. In fact, 2025 was one of the lowest number of actual transactions that have taken place in quite some time. And so, again, can't predict the future, but it's the end of 2025 right now. We're starting to see more activity on our website. We're starting to talk with buyers that have been on the sidelines, that are starting to take action, as well as other real estate professionals in the market that we talk to on a regular basis. Specifically, a friend of mine that has a very large team with over 100 agents. They are seeing quite a drastic uptick in contract activity and people that are just coming off the sidelines and taking action. And so if you're a buyer or a seller, what does this mean for you? First of all, if you're thinking about doing it and you're at the point where, we really just need to get to the bottom, get to the facts, and see where we currently sit, just reach out. Book a call. We'll hop on a call just like this, a Zoom call, and have a conversation about what does your situation look like? How can we add value to that? And more importantly, clarity, because clarity is power, allowing you to make a decision that's going to be impactful for your future.
Yeah, Kevin, and we're hearing a lot of concern on first-time home buyers. What are some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so for first-time buyers, a lot of them are considering new construction. The new builds have a lot of different options, different communities, as well as the builders are actually offering interest rate buydowns for either short-term or long-term, depending on the builder. And they cover most of your closing costs, if not all. So the only thing you need to come in with is your down payment, oftentimes 3 to 5% if you're a first-time buyer. So with those interest rate buydowns, as well as a brand new home, there's significant opportunity for first-time buyers looking at new construction. So if that's you, you're trying to buy your first home, reach out to us, book a call, or just respond to this email, and we'd love to get you taken care of. And that goes for all of you watching. If you're thinking about making a move in 2026, we want to help you. We want to be your real estate agents. And we're looking forward to connecting with you soon.